What pairs well with awesome label art and delicious local beer? A great looking glass. These limited edition #MD beer glasses are locally designed and decorated. Support Maryland's craft beer industry with each sip. All proceeds from the sale of these glasses directly benefit the Maryland craft beer industry and support the advocacy and promotional efforts of the Brewers Association of Maryland. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Chris Sands, and today we have a packed virtual house of plentiful guests. We're going to talk about Duclaw and all of its history, what it has going on, its 25th year in existence. But first, we're going to talk about an important promotion that they're a part of right now. And to join in for representing Duclaw is Rachel Bradley. You have a new marketing manager. And then part of this promotion is Squatty Potty, which if you asked me, I guess even a week ago, I never would have assumed I would have someone from Squatty Potty on to talk. But here we are, thanks to Duclaw. We have representing Squatty Potty, their creative director, Carson Stilson. Thanks for joining us, Carson.
Glad to be here.
And then from Baltimore via Miami, we have the founders and owners of Diablo Donuts, Michael and Emily Roslin. Thank you for joining us.
Sorry, I had to move the computer. We have weird feedback.
Okay. And I'm probably going to mute you every once in a while if that happens. So if you start to talk and it doesn't look like we're answering you, just flail your hands and I'll unmute you.
Got it.
All right. So we'll kick off talking about the campaign or promotion that's being run right now. I don't want to butcher any of it. So who wants to kick off from talking about it? Do you want to talk about it, Carson, or do you want to, Rachel? You can play rock, paper, scissors. You can just start seeing who talks first.
So I guess I'll just say this. Rachel and the Duclaw were the original founders of this whole idea and concept with Diablo Donuts. Squatty Potty is just new this year. So I don't know if you want to get into the previous years or just talk specifically about this campaign. If we're talking about this campaign, then I probably have a lot of knowledge of the beginnings and kind of how it started and became.
Yeah, we're gonna start off talking about thanks for giving a crap.
Okay.
Or
so I can take
rainbow poop emoji.
Good with that.
Because we're gonna dedicate a whole second part of this to unicorn farts in general, because I have been an unabashed fan of everything unicorn farts.
Okay, I guess I can kind of start with this. So last year, in the midst of the thick of COVID and everything, we were just trying to determine what do we do marketing wise, kind of figuring things out. And I got reached out to by Duclaw, and they're like, "Hey, you guys have a really cool unicorn. We have a really cool unicorn. Let's make a beer, do something fun." And we're like, "Cool, that sounds really fun. Let's do it." So
did you guys introduce your unicorns?
Well, their unicorn I don't think has an official name.
Oh,
so we more or less we were like, well, let's just bring our unicorn along, and it'll just be unicorns in general. So it was
side question though, Rachel, how is it possible that the unicorn farts unicorn doesn't have a name?
I don't know. Help me name it. What would you name it?
I think that's the makings of a contest.
I was going to say, that sounds like a poll or a contest.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll just do it and take credit in perpetuity.
I'll cite you and I'll give you credit for the idea. But
and royalties, right?
Yeah. $0. I want 0% of everything made off of.
You just need one donut in hand.
Yeah. I'll ask my 5-year-old. She's really good at naming stuff.
Prime.
All right. Sorry. You got Squatty Potty had the foresight to name their unicorn. So your unicorn, unfortunately, could not be introduced to the non-named unicorn.
Yes, unfortunately, that couldn't happen. But we have, so our unicorn is his name is Dookie, and he's, the magical ice cream pooping unicorn. And so, with unicorn farts, ice cream poop, I was like, it made perfect sense. And in fact, back in the day, we actually had a product where our unicorn had his farts bottled for a toilet spray that we made. So good sense. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. We bottle his farts already. Let's just bottle it for some beer too.
I mean, it kind of writes itself.
It does. It was perfect. Like, there's a reason why I was like, we're going to make this happen. And so we began the conversation summer of last year, and it was just kind of like, oh, let's, maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this. I mean, it was so in the early in the early process of their batch, because they had just launched their 2020 batch, which means it wasn't going to happen until 2021. So we just kind of like kept the conversation going. And then it turned into, all of a sudden it started turning into something way more. And they were like, well, what if we made this bigger? And we're like, okay, let's make it bigger. And then all of a sudden we were like talking with an agency group, and all of a sudden it was like, let's bring the Colon Cancer Foundation. I guess our biggest challenge of this whole thing is, okay, we'll partner with Duclaw on their beer, but how do we make it make sense? I mean,
do you know how many times I've had an idea and then had to work backwards? Like, how do I make this make even remote sense?
Yeah, because it was like, how do you like tie, a poop stool company with Duclaw Brewing?
And by the way, like, going back to the Duclaw unicorn name, I think you just keep it simple. Just name them Toots.
Toots? That makes sense.
I mean, Dookie and Toots. Like, what?
Toots. It's like the dynamic duo of Dookie and Toots. I love that. But yeah, we no, you're good. We as we were talking about it, I think we really jived with, okay, what's a big demographic for us? And they're like, oh, well, we like, 25 to 45-year-old men, like with big burly beard, like me and you, like we're the demographic. And we were like, well, I think men's health is a big important thing for us too. So all of a sudden we started talking about how can we make this relate, and it brought up the Colon Cancer Foundation. And I think men in general, 25 to 45, I think now the demographic is shifting gradually younger. Men's health and colon cancer and colorectal cancer in general is a really deadly cancer. And we were like, well, this is where we can tie this all in. Like, and we started this conversation with the Colon Cancer Foundation. And then it was like, well, how do we make this really unique? It's like, well, why don't we make it so people send us their poop and we send them beer? It was like so absurd. We were like, that's ridiculous. Let's do it. Like it was just so obnoxiously crazy.
So people don't like. So I don't know how the at-home test works. Do you actually have to send your poop somewhere, or is okay? So
Yes,
people do. So they're not sending it to you directly.
No, thank heavens. That's where we had the idea, and we're like, this is awesome. Now, how do we, actually connect the dots and make the whole unicorn in the drawing, So we started to partner with a bunch of other people like Craft Shack. We have a friendship going along with Everlywell and all these groups that started to like merge into like, okay, you'll take care of this, you'll take care of this, you'll take care of this. So we've partnered with Everlywell. They're sending their FIT cancer screening test. So you send them your poop. It goes to an actual doctor, an actual lab, and they test it legitimately. We don't just like keep it. It's not like our creepy thing where we just want you to send us your poop and we just like keep it in like a dark room.
And just guess whether or not
we just guess, oh, yeah, you're good. No. So they send it and they'll actually send the results. And then, you get you get beer and a squatty potty.
So if I remember correctly, there will be 100 people who receive the squatty potty, the at-home test kit, and the beer completely free. And that drawing is March 13th?
3rd.
12th? Well, no, that's when it starts.
When it
kicks
starts
off-
and it goes until the 7th is when you can enter in.
But I think it would like the winner was going to be chosen on or about. But yeah, so actually the 7th is a more important date. I'm jumping way ahead.
So it's not quite like a contest. There's not really winners. We don't really put it that way because
okay.
We don't want to be like, hey, you won a free screen. It's more like, hey, you know, we put it in. Random people are selected to be those who get the opportunity to be screened. Now, that's the cool part about it. It's just you're getting the opportunity to learn more about your health and get some free stuff. So we're not technically calling them winners, but
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, lucky individuals. Will
Yes, that's
receive
perfect. That's perfect.
For
Yeah,
free.
there's some legal jargon that goes into that.
Lucky individuals will be gifted a Squatty Potty, a gift certificate because you can't get beer, right? Give beer, and so I guess the gift certificate is probably for Craft Shack.
Yeah, they're the fulfillment center.
Okay, and then the Everly Well testing kit. I think I already said a Squatty Potty, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So they get the whole kit and caboodle.
So close to, but no donuts.
We were going to try, but
There's no good way to package them for shipping for how wide everything's going.
It's almost hard to just drive one of those donuts for like 20 miles and have them still look perfect.
The funny thing about that is now we've got people going and getting donuts. They'll get a dozen, but they'll get 13 for their car donut, we call it now. So they get to eat their car donut on the way, so they don't have to be like, oh, I ate a donut on the way here out of the 12. So
that is
that, or TSA stops you and asks what's in your box.
You guys need to just like start advertising the car donut. Like it's our 13th donut. You get one extra donut. It's a car donut for an extra X amount of dollars. That's genius.
That is fun.
Trademark that. You trademark that.
We had people go in and they'd go to a party and they'd be like, oh, there's only 11 donuts here. We had one guy, he let his buddy use his credit card. And he called us and said, oh, man, their donuts missing. My buddy bought 12 of them. I'm like, dude, your buddy's BSing you because he ate a donut. I was like, if I was your buddy, I'd eat two. So,
he didn't get a car donut, TM.
TM, perfect. Patent pending.
All right, so because I completely butchered the proper timing of how everything starts, it was the website is live now. Do you want to? What is the website people go to?
www.giveacrapchallenge.com.
So if you go there now, you can see all the information about the promotion, or what can we legally call it? The campaign, the awareness campaign.
The awareness campaign. Yeah.
And that website will magically, just like a unicorn fart or dookie, turn into a place to submit to be one of the lucky individuals who are going to be gifted the amazing package of fun.
That's perfect. Yeah, that's great.
Trademark. So all laughing aside, though, all of this is for a good reason. It's to help raise awareness for, I'm going to let you pronounce it because for some reason my tongue refuses to work in the proper way to say that foundations, like that form of cancer. So yeah, my tongue won't do that.
It's okay.
So it's to what is the foundation's goal? Someone whose tongue is capable of pronouncing that word. Want to take it from here?
They are Colon Cancer Foundation is trying to raise enough money to give 10,000 test kits to underserved communities this year, for the whole year. So for the whole month of March, we're trying to really bring awareness through this campaign so that they can reach that goal. And I'm hoping they can hit it just within this month and maybe a month after. But it is a year goal.
So, and then the second part of it is there will be an additional 300 people that will be able to receive that same package in exchange if they make a donation of $85.
Yeah. So if you're like me and you don't want to leave things up to chance, because I don't know about you, but I never feel lucky in these kind of giveaways. You know, you can just make a straight donation all at once to Colon Cancer Foundation and immediately get your beer. Boom. Don't leave it up to chance.
I'd say that, but I wouldn't leave it up to time either, because I'm sure once it hits, it's going to go fast.
Yeah.
So is this special version of Unicorn Farts only available through this promotion?
Yep. Never again.
Okay. So come, I don't know, whenever the regular Unicorn Farts release schedule is, it'll go back to its former glory of graham cracker free, fruity pebble fun.
Yeah. This one is just super special just for Colon Cancer Foundation.
And not just because it has a shiny rainbow poop emoji on it. So can you tell us what is different about this one?
Yeah, so we added graham cracker to this one. So it just changes the flavor profile a little bit. I think it makes it a little more sweet. And I tried it for the first time today, and I think it tastes like a little more citrusy than past variations. And I don't know if that's because I'm drinking it not as cold as it should be, but the graham cracker, I'm definitely getting more of that. Almost like a sweetness about it from that. I don't know.
It's now become Sweet Me Unicorn Farts.
So Carson, how long have you been with Squatty Potty?
I've been in Squatty Potty full time for 4 years.
So you were not there for the famous commercial.
So I was a freelancer for the company. I wasn't there in charge of the actual the very successful unicorn pooping commercial. But I have taken over the creative from that point on and continue to kind of run the company and ride it from that point on. So
was that part of like just the personality of the company, or was that more of like a? Do you know the story of how that was born?
Oh, I know every story at Squatty Potty. I'm like I am the lore person. We'll just put it that way for Squatty Potty. So yeah, it was really fascinating commercial, and the whole premise of how it came out was pretty unique. So our founder,
no pun intended.
No pun intended. So our product was developed. The Squatty Potty was made out of necessity. One of our founders was constipated, and it was challenging for her to deal with. And when she went to her doctor, she met with him, and he was like, "You just need to get your feet up." She's like, "Oh, okay." So, she was trying to figure out how to get her feet up. She's like, "Why is there not a product that gets your feet up on the toilet? Like, why am I having to stack books and do all sorts of things to make it work?" And her son, Bobby, was like, "Why don't we make something?" So they made something. It was awesome. Solved her problem. They started gifting it to friends, and the friends started liking it. And they were like, "I think we've got something here." And they started selling it and kind of going from there. Now, at first, it was very awkward. People they would go to like conventions and stuff, and people would like literally part the sea to go around their booth. It was just weird to them. There was this huge taboo talking about poop, talking about that kind of health. And so Bobby was like, we had some success. All of a sudden we went on the Howard Stern show, and he was passionate about the stool. And all of a sudden we were on the doctors or Dr. Oz, and all these different people started kind of picking it up and saying like, "Oh, this is a silly product, but it works." And so we started to kind of have some growth and success there. But we were like, Bobby was like, we've got to kind of take the taboo out of poop talk, because it's weird. It's kind of gross, but there needs to be some humor into it. Well, he worked with a company called the Harmon Brothers. They're a marketing firm in Utah, which we're based out of Utah as well. And they were like, "Well, we've got this crazy idea." And they worked with Bobby and came up with this absurd idea of an ice cream pooping unicorn. and it was kind of risky. It was a very big investment for us, hundreds of thousands of dollars for this video production, and then much more beyond that to push the marketing for it. And for a company that, I mean, they were doing really well. They had, I think, just got off of Shark Tank. They'd had a successful run on Shark Tank and sold, millions of dollars in product. So they had some money, a little nest egg to take a risk, but it was a pretty big risk. And Bobby decided, I'm just going to run with it. I'm just going to do it. We'll see how it goes. He almost kind of just like against his parents' wishes, which they're older and quite a bit more conservative. And they were like, this is ridiculous.
This is our retirement.
Exactly. They were like, this is absurd. Like, I don't think we can do this. And then he was like, well, let's give it a shot. And there's a whole video on YouTube if you ever want to go find it. And they kind of go into everything that they did and the kind of the risk that he took to do this video. And they created the video. They made Dookie. Dookie came to life. He's a fully animatronic unicorn. So they had to use movie magic to kind of push ice cream through the unicorn's body, so it actually came out. I have watched that video, because don't they go into detail about the challenges of making the perfectly formed. It was hard to get it just to swirl just right, and there's a lot of challenges. And I do all the video production now, so I still run into challenges when I do crazy things. I mean, luckily it's a very unique and fun job, so I can do just about anything I want, and they're like, go for it. But yes, with producing the unicorn side, they had a lot of struggles and challenges to figure everything out, but they got it to work. And they released the video October 5th of 2015. And this was in the wild west of Facebook, when the way that you marketed everything could really go viral if you got, if you kind of mixed the right ingredients together, and it blew up. I mean, crazy. And with this video, we sold so many more stools than we ever did with Shark Tank. It was just hugely viral. And now we have 3 videos kind of dedicated to the unicorn that combined together have almost 500 million views. It's pretty crazy. It's just, it went, if viral was a thing, this thing was a pandemic. It went really huge. And we've won awards, and they call it one of the greatest marketing campaigns in history. Now, when they were on Shark Tank, were they disappointed that Mark Cuban didn't win there? I think we actually wanted Lori. That was the thing. For that product, she probably is. I'm a huge Shark Tank fan. Mm-hmm. But my philosophy is always, you want Mark Cuban, just because I'm also a huge I'm just also a huge Mark Cuban fan. I think Mark Cuban's great, insanely talented. Obviously, I think he's got the highest net worth out of all the sharks. I think he's worth more than all the other sharks combined. Yeah, he's the one in the 3 comma club. Yeah, he's got a lot of money, and of course, he has great success. I think Lori is the best fit for us. She just has the QVC connection. She knows retail extremely well. When it just that segment of product, not poop related products, but just that, where you would fit in sales of those kind of products, that's her wheelhouse of blowing up. And she's so good with products that it just worked for us. Mark Cuban's more of the risk taker, try something new, whereas Lori is just hey, I've got this awesome formula and it's going to work. And I think she's been just the perfect shark for us. I don't know. I just know if I was on Shark Tank, I would still feel like I had lost, even though I got the perfect deal and the perfect shark for me, but Mark Cuban wasn't impressed. Yeah, it's tough. But that may just be my family. I'm sure. Here's the thing. I'm sure Mark wishes he would have got us now. So probably. I think we're the second or the third most profitable Shark Tank product in history. So probably Ring being one of the only more. I think the only one. There might be 1 or 2 that beat us. I think the one that beats us is Scrub Daddy. Oh, no, wait. They passed up on Ring. That's right. Yeah, I think Scrub Daddy's the one that beats us. Okay. And there may be one other. I haven't looked recently, but yeah. But that's kind of an unfair comparison, though, because that's a consumable. So you have to buy more of them. We would, yeah. Hopefully people aren't wearing out their squatty potties. If we could sell, I mean, we do upsell squatty potties. We have luxury versions of squatty potties, which it sounds ridiculous, but people like their bathrooms to look a certain way. And sometimes a white plastic stool isn't what they want in their bathroom. Most people, that's great for them. They're like, hey, easy to clean, slides under my toilet, perfect. Some people are like, I want one that's made out of bamboo. We have one that's made out of an acrylic that looks and emulates marble. And it's like, we have some fancy stools, but people love it. I mean, there's people with luxury bathrooms. You'd be shocked at how many celebrities use our product and just endorse the crap out of it. And we don't say anything. We don't approach them to do it. And they're just like, holy cow, guys, let me just talk about my poop for a minute. Smiling. Yeah. Like it's wild. And so because of that, we've had a lot of success with our kind of higher end stools.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I did, the first time I saw those, like, my first thought was like, man, I can't believe that. And then I was like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. If you have a super fancy bathroom, then you probably do care.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, if you're passionate about the product, might as well make it fit well in your bathroom.
So are the founders still involved with the company, or when they sold, did they kind of step back? Because there's a new CEO, right?
That's correct. So our current CEO actually lives in Baltimore, not too far from Duclaw. So when we did our filming and our stuff over there, he came along and said hi. So the original founders are part of the company, but they are not in the day-to-day anymore. They've pretty much taken a step back. They're part of our board of directors still and make big decisions on the company. But I think the big thing for them was it's technically 3 original founders. It's Bill and Judy Edwards, who are in their 70s. They're quite old. And so to them, they'd worked so hard their whole lives. And when Squatty Potty hit it big, they were like, we can finally retire, like this was like, it was perfect. It was literally the American dream for them, is that they didn't have to keep working anymore. Yeah. And then Bobby,
they've earned their right to kick their feet up.
Exactly. And they've worked so hard, and like all the way just until the end of when they stopped working, like they raised this thing out of the ground, and it was amazing what they did. And then Bobby, he was our original CEO. He's also taken a step back and kind of does his own thing, has his own projects, but is still part of the board of the company as well.
Let's we've talked so long about poop. I did go way over time of taking our first sponsor break. So let's take a real quick sponsor break, and then there's still a couple questions I have about the campaign and things in general. So if you can continue that conversation in a few, and we will be right back.
If you haven't heard about our beer dinners, well, now you have. Typically, the last Tuesday of each month, we partner with a local brewery and craft an exclusive 5-course dinner. Each course is thoughtfully paired with some of the finest craft beer available. You'll meet the brewery, enjoy memorable pairings and service, and have a damn good time. Like us on Facebook to stay in the know when tickets become available, because they will sell out quick.
Idiom Brewing Company proudly offers a delicious variety of beers to satisfy the most discerning tastes. Best known for their wide array of IPAs, delicious fruited sours, and robust porters and stouts, Idiom prides themselves on continuing to innovate, utilizing new and experimental hops, local ingredients, and unique flavor profiles. Idiom has a simple goal in mind: to bring people from all walks of life together to enjoy themselves and each other. Idiom Brewing Company is located in downtown Frederick, just south of the intersection of East Street and East Patrick Street, with ample seating and directly on Carroll Creek. All right, so a couple more quick questions. There is a TikTok specific portion of this campaign. Can you explain that part of it? I'm too old to understand TikTok, so maybe someone younger than me can handle that part.
Sure, I can answer that one. So I may be young, but I am not a TikToker. I actually had to do a lot of research leading up to this project. And man, oh man, is it just time consuming. It'll just suck the hours out of your life. But basically, we know that not everyone can drink beer or may want to participate in the challenge that way. But maybe they just want to care about the cause and pass on the awareness, right? So basically, we tried to think of questions or some sort of way we could make an interesting TikTok, an easy challenge per se, that we could get people of any age to participate in, so that it's no limits, open to everyone. And we came up with the idea of, well, let's, destigmatize the talk. Not the talk that you're thinking about, but the talk about colorectal cancer, Because like Carson said earlier, people just have this whole faux pas about talking about poop, People think that you're supposed to get tested when you're much older, but statistics are actually pushing younger ages now. I mean, we had, what was his name? Chadwick Boseman, right? Who just died of it at age 43. So basically, we want to start having people have the talk earlier, encourage their loved ones to remind them to go get tested. So the way you do the TikTok challenge is you film yourself either texting a loved one or calling up a loved one, and you call them and you say, hey, when was the last time you pooped? And of course, the reaction is going to be pretty entertaining. Anywhere from someone being like, excuse me, what did you just ask me? I'm
going to bet on mostly that.
Yeah.
Except for some weird friendships that the response is going to be different.
Yeah. Marla from 2 and 2 Communications tried this with her mother, and her mom is a very feisty Italian lady. So her reaction was pretty funny. But I'm actually going to film myself calling my grandmother tomorrow. And again, also a very feisty lady. So I'm excited to see her reaction. But basically, you just call up your loved one. You ask them when the last time they pooped was to get that funny reaction out of them. That's the entertaining part. And then ultimately, they're going to ask you why you're asking, right?
Yeah.
So the punchline is, because I give a crap about you. So go get tested.
Now, I feel like, Carson, if you start doing this, there's a decent probability that people aren't going to think like it's a weird out of left field question.
It's true. Yes. Actually, it's kind of disgusting, but I've had more people call me and tell me, you'd be shocked how much I think about you when I'm pooping. And it's like, it's like, I'm really honored, but that's just weird. But weird. I have a lot of friends who I have gifted squatty potties. And so I am probably one of the most thought of people when someone's pooping in the history of the earth.
That is an honor that you should be very, very proud of.
I am. Like, at this point, it's a badge of honor. We actually sell little badges that will say "I poop today." I wish I had that on. I should have put it on today.
I feel like you definitely missed the opportunity for that. All right, Carson, thank you so much for your time. I know you have other things to do, so we're going to stop talking about poop, at least for a little while.
Give people a break.
So, yes. We're going to move on to unicorn farts. But do you want to give just a real quick rundown? How do people enter? All those quick details, and then we'll be on to donuts, glitter, fruity pebbles, and beer.
So go to giveacrapchallenge.com. You can go now and you can kind of learn more about the details right this moment. You can't actually sign up until the 3rd, which is, I believe,
today.
National. Oh, today is the 3rd.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
because I'm releasing this on the 3rd.
Oh. Well, now I know.
Yeah, like in the future, today is the 3rd.
Okay, so on the 3rd, today, go to giveacrapchallenge.com. Check it out. You can sign up. You'll be one of the 100 that will get it. Hopefully, get a test sent to you with the beer and the squatty potty. Do it. It's easy to detect. It's very treatable if you catch it early, and this is just a fun way to hopefully create awareness about what is the, second deadliest form of cancer in our nation when you consider both men and women. So go make it happen. Give a crap about your friends, your family. It's worth doing, and it's fun. That's why things work for Squatty Potty and Duclaw. You do things that are fun, and people hopefully catch on and do it themselves too. So
while I was very happy when I received my box of the beer, my wife was very sad that there also wasn't a squatty potty.
You
So
better
she just
you
messed
shoot
up.
me an email and there will be a squatty potty at your doorstep.
All right. Thank
We'll
you.
solve your wife's sadness.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time, and for giving us all the details of the campaign and a little bit more information about Squatty Potty. Something I never thought I'd be talking about during this little show.
We just kind of sneak up on people, right?
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
See ya.
All right. Now it's time to talk about glitter and beer and donuts. A little bit more cleaner arrangement. So, Unicorn Farts started as a donut, correct?
Yes, it did. It started. It was one of our first donuts about 8 years ago that we did. That I designed for the actual shop. So yeah, and its name kind of came from a weird little place. So I used to work for the president of a national motorcycle club, and he wanted us to do donuts for their Christmas party. And we thought it would be funny if we came up with a funny name for the donut, one of the donuts. So we had all these bikers, these big badass bikers walking around their clubhouse at Christmas yelling, "Where is Unicorn Farts?" So it amused us. So it kind of went from there.
I absolutely love that is the origin of the donut in the name. So, did you come up with the name first and then work backwards to what like the ingredients would be, or did you come up with the
donut was the first one, and we were
okay?
Originally it was Fruity Pebbles, whatever. Yeah. And
Okay.
It went from there. Yeah. So we have a couple of pretty wild names actually. So our maple bacon's the panty dropper, and
chocolate cake and peanut butter is your mom.
Yeah. We have a chocolate cake donut that's your mom. Yeah.
Our honey mustard and onion is 666.
I don't know if I would enjoy that on a donut.
What, honey mustard and onion?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a beer pretzel. It's fabulous.
Okay, maybe I would like that.
Yeah.
Although I definitely love Unicorn Farts. So, but is there always glitter on the donut, or there's not always glitter on it?
Just
okay.
Whenever we know it's going to be on TV.
It's basically for the events. Like we do a smaller version for a lot of the like the releases in different bars and stuff, and we'll put glitter on those.
Okay.
Different beers will hit us up that they got their keg in, and then we'll usually try and do like an early week thing for them if they don't have like a popular Wednesday or Tuesday, and we'll be trying to get some people out there for them by bringing donuts in too for the to tap it.
So basically, whenever the donut needs to dress up and look pretty, it throws on some glitter.
You got it, man.
So how did the beer come about?
So basically, our brewers went to visit you, Ross, right? And they were trying to come up with some sort of beer to use with any of your donuts. And I think at first they were going to go with actually dark beer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you said unicorn
That's
farts.
the patriarchy line.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of flavors you had in like originally too. I think blueberry basil was one of them.
I think the maple bacon was too, but it was pretty popular in other breweries at the time, so we were trying to go a little bit more out of the box.
Well, I think you landed on the right decision then, because it definitely like that. It's a perfect marriage. I think people love pastry stouts too, but people love fruited sours, and I think that flavor just melds itself perfectly for, especially having them together is amazing. The donut and the beer together is perfect.
It works really well. It's actually when we first started, I did a lot of breweries, and I did a lot of like the cast. You would do a donut flight. You would do a donut and a beer, and you would have a flight of donuts and beers, and we'd match them all to whatever beers they had. So we did that for the first like 4 years of our existence.
The origination of the 2-incher, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The small donut. Yeah.
So that they landed on wanting to do the unicorn farts donut, and then was it instantly going to be then a fruited sour, or was it still thought to be a patriarchy line then?
Yeah, because we were thinking about having it be one of our limited releases. So we put out those 3 16-ounce cans all at the same time. You know, the IPA, the pastry beer, and the sour. So it was gonna fall into one of those 3 years. And because it was fruity, we were like, makes sense. Put it in the Sour Me series.
So the yeah, that was going to be my next question. You already answered. I get kind of the Sour Me series had already existed at that point. I couldn't remember the timing of all that.
Yeah, it's been going on for, I want to say 3 years now. I think it was like the fall of like 2018 or something like that we put out the first ones.
Has the beer brought a lot of new customers to Diablo? Has that helped you guys?
A whole lot.
Liquor license.
Now we have a liquor license, so that'll help a whole lot too. So it's crazy. Just the whole release of it kind of went a little. I think Duclaw will say this too. It kind of went a little wilder than we ever imagined that it would definitely do.
Like we go to bed pretty early, so like we know that some like stuff happens when we go to bed, but not like that.
We've had like one night we woke up, we had like 4,000 more followers in the time frame from like 5 o'clock at night till 11.
Literally 5 p.m. to 11 p.m.
So it was kind of crazy when it first took off. There were states there was a state that wouldn't carry it because of its name originally, from what I remember. And
really?
Yeah, the Bible down in the Bible Belt didn't want it originally. Which I'm pretty sure
I don't know which one that would be.
Huh?
I'm not sure which one that would be. I know we've gotten a lot of flack for Sweet Baby Jesus.
I believe it was one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, it was one of the Carolinas. I think it was North Carolina. It said something about it then.
Yeah, I mean everyone's on board now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Now that once it's popular. So, but you guys recently moved to a new location, correctly? Well, actually, you're going to be very shortly.
We're there. We're set up. We're ready to rock and roll. We'll be open this Friday. It's a great location. It's actually...
Is that the grand opening at the new location?
Yes, for our side of it, for the Diablo Donut side.
Okay.
Walk up.
We definitely have it. We have about 50 seats out front that we can do outside. Then we have seats inside. And then Smoking Swine in the bar side will be open hopefully in April if everything goes well. And we're looking forward to it. We got it pretty good. We have Smoking Swine, us, Dizzy Cow Pizza right now, all involved in the whole event. So I mean,
definitely a place for growth. There's a lot of room for everyone there, not only just idea-wise, but the actual property is quite large for its location.
Where's it at?
So it's on Hanover Street, like right on the lower side of Brooklyn, over before you have to turn to go to that hospital, the big hospital over there.
Like Hanover and Poteet, like right there.
Yeah.
But before, like if you get off the 895 exit coming like out of the tunnel, it's the first one. It's literally the first building you hit.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It used to be a crab bar years ago.
Okay. What's the address?
3432 South Hanover Street.
Awesome. And how do people find and keep up to date with Diablo Donut stuff?
I would say social media is usually the best. Between Facebook and Instagram are usually our go-tos to update first. Just because again we go to bed early, so sometimes we definitely use the social media to keep up and running.
Definitely Diablo Donuts Facebook, Diablo Donuts Instagram. Our website's actually 410dough.com. I let it lapse one time, so now we have. So they want like $3,000 for it.
Oh, jeez.
No. I was like, I'll pass. So it's 410dough.com. It works really well for us, so I kind of like having it that way a little bit. It's a little more easier to remember, I feel. A lot of people didn't spell last name, the donuts right, so they wouldn't find it right away.
Whoever the person that did that and is sitting on it, you're an awful human being. You're just horrible.
It's me procrastinating.
But still, that like there's like
are they even using it?
No, it's just sitting.
No, I'm sure it's just sitting on the
I have checked.
I think the last time it was at almost 8.
Really?
Yeah.
I keep checking. I'm hoping they just forget about it, but they haven't.
Awful human being.
So we're
You
working
should be
on
ashamed of
a food truck right
yourself.
now. We're also working on our food truck, so it should hopefully be out. We'll get to do more of the fun stuff.
Oh,
Do
nice.
the
So
people.
just donuts or like a whole?
No,
Coffee.
donuts and coffee. Pretty simple stuff. We're going to keep it us. We're trying to expand Diablo to the point where we have the truck and the shop, and maybe another shop eventually. But right now, it's really small.
I was gonna say our truck is much smaller than a regular food truck because we don't require to have an entire kitchen on it.
Yeah.
Take your like mail truck and like make it XL.
Okay.
It's like an ice. And we're basically at the ice cream truck stage where we don't have to do all the crazy food stuff. But so that's going to go. That's getting ready to go, and then we're just going to concentrate on some other fun stuff. We do a lot of things with other bars and stuff as far as sandwiches. Our honey mustard onion goes on a sandwich at 101.
They're buns for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people use them as buns. Cut them in half, turn them inside out, put them together, stuff like that.
Can I suggest Frederick as a second location?
Actually, you're not the only one who said that.
I think we could really use Diablo Donuts in Frederick.
I know you guys have a vegan shop up there. I'm not too familiar with it, but I
He's-
have a friend that has a hair salon up there, and she comes down and gets donuts and takes them up to her salon.
See,
A lot.
save her a trip. What kind of friend are you?
I know.
Just open a shop in Frederick. Why are you making her drive for
Horrible.
45 minutes when you could just open up a business?
customer service garbage.
We're
I definitely I've only I need to I gotta come to the new location because I've never been to the actual store. The only time I've had unicorn farts, I was lucky enough to have it brought to me. So but from what I understand, you sell out pretty quickly, right?
Yes, we make it depends on the day, really, honestly.
Okay.
We make 150 dozen a day. That's the goal.
Okay.
So, and then we go from there. I mean, some people get there super early. Some people, drag their feet and they get what's left at the end of the day kind of thing.
My regular guideline is usually get there within the first 2 hours if you want a larger selection.
Okay.
And that's usually how I go. I will say that the new location has already been deemed extremely user-friendly. Between getting to it, parking, and things of that nature is definitely way easier than trying to do all the other things that we had at the other place.
Good, because that was going to be my next question, because for some reason I have an unreasonable amount of parking phobia anytime I'm going to go somewhere.
So
And
I was going to say next to it is actually a huge park and ride lot that we've kind of been like okayed to use.
Okay.
But even outside of that, out front, there's more than enough on both sides that we're not competing with any other businesses. So even though it would be considered parallel parking, you're still just pulling up. There's no three-pointer.
And you
Gotcha.
don't have to pay. So
which is obviously a huge plus.
yes. And the cool thing about it is we have a backyard area that's like almost an acre, and we can have up to 200 people out there.
Oh, that's awesome.
So eventually we're going to do a beer garden,
Can have donut parties.
donuts,
Look how happy it is.
donuts, and
I'm so excited.
barbecue.
I mean, yeah, the beer's cool too, but donuts.
It'll be great. And when the new Unicorn Farts comes out, we can have a release party there. So we're kind of really excited about that. It'll be our first time. COVID really kind of like
It was harsh and bottom line.
it's not like it messed last year's batch up because we did have plans for it, but in the long run, it got out to more people and more people know about it. So not only does Duclaw get phone calls, we constantly get phone calls or people coming in from out of state going, "Hey, can you guys sell me the beer too?" And I'm like, I don't even have it. I have like 2 cans, I think.
I think the most I drank was at our wedding because we got it to toast with. Instead of like champagne, we had our flutes filled with unicorn farts.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know that when I posted photos with the donuts, there was a lot of reaction to those donuts. So people definitely want them.
Yeah, it's crazy. We were named
So
top 50.
just think of how many more people you could reach if you had a location in Frederick. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, I'm sorry. I interrupt too. So we were voted last year top 50 donut shops in the United States
by a couple of different outlets.
So it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm psyched about it, considering this was all an accident. So.
Well, it was a crazy example of something going completely viral, and then because it went viral and Duclaw dumped gasoline on it perfectly.
Oh yes, 100%.
So it had its own legs, but the marketing crew at Duclaw knew how to capitalize on that perfectly to even make it go further than ever.
I was gonna say our photo shoot last fall really was popular. We got a lot of hits after that. And,
I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to talk about that and then I completely forgot about it somehow.
Well,
that was such a fun day.
That was the coldest day in November. It was really cold.
Yeah, so I don't know where to easily find those photos now, but on the internet somewhere you can find photos of Michael laying in a tub full of Fruity Pebbles with donuts if you are into that.
Plus we got the cover of Food and Beverage magazine with that photo. There's some outtake photos we should send you of me in a Chewbacca robe.
Getting glitter on his face.
I need to see those.
Yeah, I can send you them. But
And,
I was going to say,
on
Maggie made
Instagram.
us a whole calendar last year.
And then Duclaw won a Crushie for the campaign. So it was universally loved.
Yeah. Crushie in the beer world, and then AMA Marketing Awards for Baltimore too. So yeah, it did really well. It got picked up on a lot of sites too, like Pop Sugar and all that kind of stuff too.
We got
The weirdest one is Snapchat, because that still pops up on people's
yeah, we
things.
have Snapchat.
The Now This, whatever that like outlet is on Snapchat, we still pop up on that at least once a month. People are like, oh, I just saw you on Snapchat last week. I'm like, was it new?
It was weird. We got like there were a bunch of other ones too, like foodie websites we got hit up on between the beer, and then one of the really big ones, I can't remember exactly which one it was, but we got like on Thrillist we got the beer, and we do a king cake donut, and they were all in the same like week. So it was pretty cool.
You must have been crushed that week.
Yeah, I was like, yes. No.
Cha-ching.
Yeah. So, but definitely the way we're going now with everything and partnering up with these guys and everything else, I feel like that's kind of the way the future for restaurants in a sense right now because of COVID.
It's all about the partnerships.
It's a good partnership, even with like Duclaws and stuff like that. It just working with everybody and working on. I mean, they're incredible to work with. I know
it'll probably do absolutely nothing for you, but when can we make an uncapped donut?
Let's do it.
Yeah, hit me up and let me know what type of like flavors you're thinking or what your favorite whatever
So,
it is, and I got you.
We go back
here.
We go back this week and we'll be doing all the St. Patrick's Day. So we use, instead of using like to make our glaze, we use Guinness beer.
Nice.
And we use Bailey's in our buttercream.
Yeah, it's a Guinness.
Nothing's cooked out.
I was gonna say it's a Guinness.
That sounds
chocolate
amazing.
and Bailey's buttercream. And it's a pretty big one. I will give it. It's got a pretty big mountain on top of it of the buttercream. And like he said, it's not cooked out. It is probably a portion of a full shot. And what's the other? Oh, and then we do a cereal milk glaze. And that has the Lucky Charms on top. People really like that one. And then probably one of our most classic is the grasshopper, which is like a nice bright green mint glaze on a chocolate cake donut, and then the cookie crumbs all there and some drizzling. So gonna do it all this weekend for St. Patty's Day.
So are we looking at like end of 2021 or early 2022 that you open the Frederick location?
Yeah, that sounds about right. My biggest thing is
everybody send us your money.
All right. Thank you two so much for
thank you.
giving
And
us.
like I said, Duclaw is awesome. So, and you guys are awesome for bringing us in and doing this right now. So yeah, thank you guys.
Well, I mean, there's no way I could have an episode talking to Duclaw and not have some time dedicated to unicorn farts and not bring in the originators of unicorn farts. I mean, that would what kind of person would I be if I did that? I would be on par with the person who stole your domain.
There you go. He's gonna see us and hate himself in the morning. He's just
I
gonna
hope
get back
so.
to us.
There's so we're going to take a real quick commercial break, and when we get back, we're going to have just some specific Duclaw conversation with Rachel to give us a little bit of the history of Duclaw and then what Duclaw has happening on for the rest of the year. So we'll be right back. There are many reasons why I have chosen District East for where I purchase beer. I love the flexibility of being able to make a custom six-pack or take home a crowler from one of the 8 beers on tap. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff do an amazing job at keeping a diverse selection on hand. You can even purchase artwork from the monthly featured artist. District East is located on Northeast Street in Frederick in the same shopping center as Family Mill and Rockwell Brewery. You can find today's beer lists on the District East Facebook page or at www.districteast.beer. To all you craft breweries, wineries, and distilleries out there, listen up. Atlantic Custom Solutions is the real deal in providing you branded growlers, ceramics, glassware, and accessories like koozies, coasters, and keychains. Their high-definition digital printing, organic ink, and low-fire process ensures your brand is printed in ultra-high definition, giving you a one-up on the competition. We've used Atlantic Custom Solutions for uncapped branded glassware and couldn't be happier with it. Check them out. Visit www.brandmybeverage.com or give them a call at 434-286-4500 to learn more about how they can help you brand your business. Uncapped is brought to you with support from McClintock Distilling, Maryland's first and only organic certified distillery. They are well known for their award-winning gin and are rapidly growing a name for themselves for their Matchstick Bourbon and Bootjack Rye Whiskey that have both won double gold at international spirits competitions. You can visit them in historic downtown Frederick along Carroll Creek for tours and tastings. Go to McClintockDistilling.com for more information. All right. Now, an hour into this, we should probably talk about Duclaw a little bit. So, how long have you been at Duclaw?
So I started November 28th, 2016.
Oh, so you've been there for a while.
Yeah. So 4 years, 4 years not change.
Now, though, Duclaw has been around going on 25 years at this point. How did Duclaw come to be?
So,
sorry to interrupt. Somehow, like I know, like a lot of the old breweries, the history of it, but because Duclaw doesn't do tours and those types of things, I actually have no idea. Because I didn't read that newspaper article. I have no idea the history and the story of Duclaw. So I will stop interrupting you and I will let you tell that story.
No, it's all good. Yeah, actually, a lot of people don't. And because we've been around for 25 years, we've gained fans in different segments of our life as a brewery. So some people only know us as the brew pub days. Some people only know us as the beer now. So the history has definitely evolved over the decades. It started in 1996 when Dave, I should pull up the picture again. So that's our founder. That's our founder, Dave. That's his father. And this is the opening night of the very first location. So it started as a brew pub in Bel Air. And it started as just that location in 1996. And then they opened several locations over the next 10 years, everywhere from Fells Point. They used to be on that where Bond Street Social is now. They had a location there at one point, Arundel Mills, Bowie, several other places. And it kind of took off more of a towards the restaurant venue because, let's be honest, in 1996, breweries aren't what they are today. You know, you couldn't just like go brewery hopping.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, even 2006, it was
then.
well before it's like the current climate of craft beer.
Yeah. I mean, Dave has told me before the story of like jumping all in on this project because it started really with him in college, just home brewing beer. And he was supposed to take over his dad's the whole family business. It was like a electrical contracting or something like that. And he told me, he was like, yep. And one day I just looked at my dad and he looked back at me and he was like, you're not going to do this, are you? And he was like, no, I'm going to brew beer. So, and I mean, in 1996, that was a pretty big jump, I'd say. Of course, there are craft breweries that date much older, but I feel like in our area, not many, but like in Maryland, especially in the DMV area, you know, it was definitely a big risk to take. So he kind of spun it like, oh, well, what if they're brew pubs? It's kind of like a restaurant business. So it was a bunch of restaurants, and then they started distributing to Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Pennsylvania area, you know, just within like the hour or two radius. But people started to really pick it up and like it. And at one point in the Duclaw history, you come to a crossroads. You know, you're already managing all these restaurants. You start distributing to more states. And at some point, you just kind of have to pick a path, you know? So they closed all the restaurants. And I think the last one was sold and closed the year that I started in 2016. And then we just started picking up new states like crazy. I think when I started, we were only in maybe like 12, 13 states. And now this year, we're going to be opening up Massachusetts in spring. So that'll be our 20th. And then Michigan is to follow soon after. So just having to make that split off and decide that, you know, we are a brewery. We're not a restaurant business, you know.
Is there plans to open a customer-facing tap room?
Oh my goodness. That's like the number one question.
I
it
imagine
is
it
always
is.
Mysterious. It's mysterious to even me. I would personally love to have something where I could direct people, like as a marketing person, just direct people to like, here's where you can always get our beer. Because it's hard to just say, here's a list of restaurants where you could possibly get our beer if it hasn't kicked, you know, on tap yet and all that kind of stuff. So I would love to. No plans set in stone. But with it being our 25th year, it's always been a looming question talked about in the higher ups here. But I don't know. I can't make any promises, and I feel like I'm asked this in every scenario, and I never have a good answer. And I really wish I could just say, yes, it's going to happen. You know what? I'm just going to speak it into existence.
Have you thought about
one day we'll have a tap room?
Have you thought about opening a tap room in Frederick?
We could do a tap room / donut shop all in one.
There you go. Early 2022.
And then we could have a gift shop that sells squatty potties.
Yeah. Why the name Duclaw?
That's another one that we always get. Okay. So,
well, I mean, because it's kind of interesting. It makes you think of a dog, but there's no dogs in the branding whatsoever.
No, yeah. It's funny. I actually never knew that was an anatomy of a dog, the thumb, the Duclaw part, until I started working here and people brought it up. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know about that. But honestly, the honest answer is that when Dave was like a 26-year-old college kid, you know, coming out of college making this brewery, he was like, what sounds cool and edgy? Claw. What sounds fancy and elevated? Something French like do. So Duclaw. And that's the sad truth.
That may be sad, but it's phenomenal.
It's funny. And I feel like we've made up so many funny punny stories over the years. I think when they had the restaurants, they told this story that the restaurant was like miner themed, for like gold miners, and there was a statue in the front of this guy with this axe pick. And we actually still have it. It's downstairs. First thing you see when you walk in. And they would always be like, "Oh yeah, that's Grandpappy Duclaw. Like he went out west and searched for gold," or something like that. So there's so many stories looming around, but honestly, that's the true one.
I love that naming story as much as I love making bikers at a Christmas party ask for unicorn farts.
It's the juxtaposition. It's so funny.
So this is the 25th year. I guess when Duclaw opened, there really in Maryland was only Heavy Seas.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, yeah, because they just had their 25th, right?
Yeah, they had the 25th last year.
And Brewer's Alley. Maybe
Oliver's, I think
would,
and at the time, and Flying Dog.
But they weren't in Maryland, so they don't count for that.
Okay.
They were still in, they didn't move to Maryland until 2007, 8-ish, somewhere in that time. Yeah.
I never knew that. That's a fun fact.
Yeah. That's how I got into craft beer.
Was that your first craft beer?
I mean, I had like some Sam Adams and stuff, but I moved to Frederick at the same time that Flying Dog took over the old Frederick Brewing Company.
Yeah.
When they moved from Colorado to Maryland. See, if you listened to the Uncapped podcast 3 years ago, you would have heard this story. Actually, no, 4 years ago at this point, you would have heard this story.
I'm not doing my due diligence.
So 25 years in existence. I've heard that you do have some kind of cool things planned for this year. Yeah,
we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. We usually brainstorm our next year's schedule about June-ish, summertime, the year before. So last summer we kind of sat down with this gigantic whiteboard. I'm talking like the size of a wall. And we all sat in a big group and we're like, all right, throw it up there. We put out every flavor combo, hop, grain thing that we wanted to accomplish and all these crazy ideas, and then took time to narrow it down. And for our 25th, I guess I could say this. I don't know. I could say this. For our 25th,
you're allowed.
I'm allowed. We haven't started talking about it yet. We want to talk about kind of the history about Duclaw since it is our 25th year. Kind of sprinkle it here and there throughout the year, leading up to our birthday, which is in August. So our 16-ounce releases that are dropping in August, we're going to do some fun throwback beers. So we have an idea of which ones we want to choose. And the labels are kind of being designed for those now. And it's just really cool to see old 90s grungy kind of artwork be transformed.
So you're going all the way back to the very beginning, not even like craft beer 2.0 where it was like Serum and Venom and Colossus or any of those coming back.
Maybe. I wouldn't say to the very beginning, because I know very beginning was like Mad Bishop, and we do that every year. We already rebranded that. Devil's Milk, which we axed that one. I mean, it could come back at some point, but not this year. But I don't know. I would say maybe it does lie more 2.0. It's definitely between the range of like the late 90s and
Right.
early 2000s, I'd say.
I feel like you have to give us at least one or two of what's
Okay,
coming up.
okay. You did. I'll give you this. You did mention one of them.
Colossus.
No.
Oh,
Although we'll probably do like a secret, fun little mini release of that this year too.
Serum. No, Venom.
No, Venom. Yes. You had three guesses.
I'm bad at the second round of guessing, but I mean, I would say the first round I did just pulling names out of nowhere and getting one right was good. Although I did fail at narrowing it down.
Yeah, I mean, what were the odds of getting 1 out of 3 of those? That's kind of.
It's better than the odds of getting 1 out of
100.
however many beer. Yeah.
So many. I remember when I first started and I had to clean up the Untapped to only show recent stuff. I was like, ugh. They actually emailed me saying that they shut it down because they thought I was a bot. Because
That's funny.
Submitted so many change requests. They were like, "Oh, we thought this was like a hack," and I'm like, "No, I just have a lot to change."
So, I had Colossus for the first time. I believe it was the first time it was ever released to the public. It was at a beer festival in Frederick. It was the precursor to the Maryland Craft Beer Festival. Back then, it was called Spring Fest, and it was held at Harry Grove Stadium. And they had I think throughout the whole day, Duclaw was doing like tapping different kegs.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they were tapping Colossus. And I had already spent the whole day drinking. And
they did that on purpose.
we thought it was a brilliant idea to then go have some of that. I don't remember the rest of the day. I remember letting my wife know she could come pick us up, and then the rest's a blur. That is a strong beer.
Yeah. I mean, I think the lowest it was ever brewed at was like 17%. The highest was 20 point something.
I think that first one was was 20 something.
They
I remember
usually hit the 20s, yeah.
Because I remember it just being obscenely strong.
That's so mean, though, to think that they would tap that one last, like when everyone's already drank all day long.
Well, I mean, it's possible it may not have been last, but it was last for me. It was at least when I tapped out.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
I mean, like that
beer festivals.
that was back when a Maryland Craft Beer Festival had like 10 breweries at it.
Oh my goodness.
It's so weird.
Imagine that. Can you imagine? I mean, yeah, you can imagine it. You were there, but I wasn't a part of that world then. And I just can't imagine that. Because now what do they have? Like 100 at least?
Yeah, usually.
I mean, and that's just the people who actually pay to and show up and bring the beer. Like there are way more breweries than that in the state. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, so it was definitely, because this would have been it was probably 2008, maybe 2009.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to say, yeah.
So yeah, it was like Heavy Seas, Brewer's Art, Flying Dog, Duclaw, I mean, there are definitely a lot. Oliver's. Who else would have been there? Brewer's Alley. The Edgar Allan Poe one. Raven Beer was always at them. Franklin's.
Franklin's?
They may not be around anymore. I feel horrible if they are. But you should feel even worse because I'm pretty sure they were from Baltimore.
Oh, okay. I gotta look them up. Franklin's.
Yeah. And they're really, I'm sure there may have been a couple other ones, but there weren't many more. They were very small beer festivals.
Oh, their description on Instagram is best little poorhouse in Maryland.
So they are still around?
They are. I mean, it looks like it. They last posted 5 hours ago.
Man, we're awful. So yeah, obviously Franklin's is still around. And they were one of the few breweries at the beer festivals back then. So at one point, though, there was a very clear shift in Duclaw's basically just lineup of beer and marketing. What was the impetus of that?
Well, I think it was just, the changing times. If a brewery is going to be around for 25 years, you're going to see the change in what people are demanding from you. Like nowadays, can you imagine 10 years ago that the brews that you're seeing right now that are hype beers would be popular 10 years ago? No, like
They would
the
not have
industry
been.
changes. The industry completely flips all the time. So being able to be flexible and willing to change with it, I think, is a really important thing. You have to be flexible as a business. So that's my serious statement. But basically trying to convince people in our company who didn't want to change and those who did want to change. And I think it just created a very clear rift in the company. And I didn't see the entire buildup to this change. I came in at the end of 2016, and it was 2017 that everything changed for us.
Yeah, because I was going to say it was right around when you had started when that big shift would have taken place.
It was monumental. I remember coming into this company, and we had, a small set of core beers, and we had maybe 10 seasonals, and that was it, right? And they were pretty standard styles, other than some of our core brands like, Sweet Baby Jesus and that kind of stuff with a little bit of like adjunct fun with them. But there was some more young blood who was like people in the company who were like, you got to try this. It's so cool. And brought in like a 16-ounce can of like something or another. And it was just completely different, and it really showcased how the industry was changing. And so we just had to change with it. And so everything, we started over. We started doing different kinds of seasonals. We started putting out series because we noticed that people want something new and fun, but they want something that they recognize. So starting the IPA series, the Sour Me series, the Patriarchy series, having gozas, having hop sours, it was just a pivotal change in the company. And I think it was definitely a make or break kind of decision for the time.
And out.
Yeah. And who knows, maybe 5 years from now, another make or break moment's going to come and we're going to have to completely shift again.
So did making that shift, did it completely change the popularity of Duclaw?
I noticed a big change on social media, at least, because at that time I was the social media manager and I was doing all that kind of stuff. I noticed a big shift when we started coming out with limited releases on top of our seasonals and core brands. It was just different. We were bringing in a younger audience because at the time, I want to say our main demographic was males 40 to 60. And now our largest demographic is more around the age of like 25 to 35. So just bringing in those new kinds of beer drinkers was really pivotal in keeping our brand alive.
So this photo is from standing in line to get Colossus.
Oh, goodness.
And it was 2009.
You want another hint? Another beer up there is also going to be brought back for the limited release.
Naked Fish.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And look at that guy's phone right there.
Where? Oh, good.
The lower left.
That's not as bad as like an actual flip phone, though.
Yeah, but that's hilarious.
That's actually pretty high tech for the time, I feel like. What year was this again?
2009. So the iPhone would have been out.
Okay.
But still not a commonplace type of phone.
No, I didn't. I had a Nokia brick in 2010 to 2012, and then I got my first iPhone. It was the iPhone 4 in 2012.
Yeah, so that picture was definitely not taken with a cell phone. I don't think that must have been an actual camera. Cool. So now we know Venom and Naked Fish are two. How are so? Is it going to be? Are those throwback releases going to be like all at one time, or are they going to be sprinkled throughout the year?
All at one time. So it's
Okay.
going to be in that limited release 16-ounce cans lineup. So the Naked Fish, it's going to take place of our 19th release of the Patriarchy. So it's going to sub in there. And then we have a Sour Me release throwback to the original Sour Me This.
Oh.
And then the IPA throwback is going to be Venom.
But it's not like redoing that recipe, right? It's like a modernization of that.
Yeah, they're going to take that base recipe. It's not going to be, I think from what I've heard about the brewers talking, I don't think it's an exact replica. I think they're going to tweak a thing or here or there. But for the most part, it'll taste pretty similar. Because they want that nostalgia. You know, like when you drink it, you're going to be like transported, like you're saying, back to that time and yesteryear, for all of our fans who, have been with us through the years. Because as much as we have worked hard to kind of bring in the new beer drinker, we have to recognize that, tip our hat and say thank you to the people who have stuck with us for all 25 years.
I wish I had better Barley and Hops was there, no longer around. I can definitively say that one. I'm not just guessing that someone's. Unfortunately, this was back before breweries even had branded tents. So most of the pop-ups don't even have names on them, so I can't tell from the pictures.
Yeah.
The Raven, we mentioned them. Flying Dog was obviously there. But nothing else has names on the tent.
Going through all the old photos has been probably the highlight of my task this month. Trying to dig up all the old pictures. I mean, these, obviously I had to ask Dave to go through, boxes in his basement to dig these. But just trying to find old digital photos, because like you're saying, people weren't taking pictures with their cell phones. It was cameras. Yeah. So I think
back in the Stone Age.
It was really hard to find things at first. I'd be looking up pictures and I'd find all these blurry pictures from 2006. And not a single one of these is in focus. How is this?
That's just how it was back then, Rachel. So is there anything else planned for this? I guess it's kind of hard to decide if there's any possibility of an event or.
Oh my gosh, I wish. No, we have a lot of cool mini collaborations coming up. We have one with Catoctin Creek Distillery coming up at the end of the year. We are going to bring back Colossus. I don't know if it's going to be distributed, but at least in local Maryland area. And then
that's not going to be in 16-ounce cans, is it?
I actually don't know what it'll be in. I kind of want to put
dangerous.
It in a fancy bottle of some sort.
A wax dipped bottle.
I'm thinking bigger. I want a fancy bottle and a fancy wooden box. Little what do you call it? The stuffing,
the straw,
nut shreds. Yeah, the straw and it fire burned and Anyway, this is just me talking. It's never going to happen. But
I was just going to say that sounds probably like a pipe dream.
We're going to have a beautiful tap room one day.
The Frederick location selling donuts also.
Yeah. We can talk about, who knows, maybe we'll speak it into existence. But we will be bringing back We're actually shaking up our seasonal releases a little bit. I know they tend to get kind of like the styles aren't as exciting as I would say the limited releases are. So we took other than Unicorn Farts, obviously, our other most popular Sour Me series release has been Sour Me America, which was last summer.
Oh, that was like the
Rocket
pop.
Pop.
Yeah, Rocket Pop. That was the right word.
Oh gosh, it was so good.
I don't think I had that one. That may be one of the only ones I never had.
I have one left in my fridge that I have been hoarding for months. Who knows if it still tastes good, but
I had an original beach drink. The
peach sherbet?
No, I'm sorry, not a Duclaw beer. A true respite beach drink. The first beer to ever have my face emblazoned on the label.
Okay, I remember that label.
From when I had it, it was like a year and a half old. I was shocked at how good it still was.
Really?
Because I mean, it's like a crap. I can't remember what percent. Low percentage ABV Goza. So I wasn't expecting it to hold up for that long, but it was surprisingly good.
Yeah, I feel like
so there's hope for the Rocket. There's hope for your Rocket Pop to still taste good.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm excited for that one.
What is the more popular line, the Patriarchy or the Sour Me series?
I think it depends on what state you're in.
Okay.
I guess I would lean more towards the Sour Me series, but that's just because having done Unicorn Farts as a part of that series really lifted that up. And when you get placements for a UPC and everybody orders that one, there's like not a single person who doesn't order that one. It just makes it easy for people to keep up
that line.
Yeah. So I would lean towards that one, but I would say it also kind of depends on what flavor lineups we have. Because like the last one that just came out was Sour Me Black Apple, which kind of tastes like an apple pie, and the Patriarchy Mexican Hot Chocolate. Like that one leaned more towards Sour Me being more popular. I'm trying to think of an example of when the Patriarchy was more popular. I can't.
The peppermint one?
The peppermint was really, oh my gosh, I love mint. I love mint and everything. When Diablo was talking about the grasshopper donut,
like, mouth watering.
I want one now. Those Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies are calling my name right now at home in my freezer.
Has the production of Unicorn Farts been increased every year?
Oh my god, yes.
So when so I'm guessing by substantial amounts.
It's so nerve-wracking. Like leading up to when we plan to can that beer this year especially, it's just daunting. So daunting to think about how many hours we're going to be canning that beer.
So it had sticking power. People still, like, it wasn't something people got excited about and then like, that was yesterday. People still continue to be excited. I guess because it's a yearly release that was really popular.
Yeah.
Like, if you probably made it on a regular basis, it probably wouldn't.
So many people were following up after the second year and saying, "Oh my gosh, you're doing this wrong. Why isn't this always available?" And it's like, because then
you probably wouldn't want it.
Yeah. And then also the fact that we open new states every year, so there's people who wouldn't have been able to get it before. A lot of times it'll sell out before their local liquor store can get some, and maybe they didn't get a chance. So I would say like maybe half the people haven't tired of it, maybe half the people still haven't gotten to try it. And now we've actually been partnering with this company called Brew Pipeline a lot, which they're fulfillment, so they're able to get our beer out to states where we don't have distribution yet. So people like California are getting it.
Wait, I think I remember something. Wasn't that created by Duclaw's CEO or didn't someone from Duclaw like
similar? So Brew
okay.
Optics is
Oh, damn it! I thought I was smart.
Tell me, like, you are not alone. I'm constantly emailing people and accidentally saying the wrong one. And
Okay.
them, you are because they both start with Brew.
Yeah.
But no, Brew Pipeline is the fulfillment company.
Okay.
Brew Optics is an online software program that helps breweries track their orders and stuff. And oh my gosh, just from like my side working with it, when distributors asked to order like glassware or coasters, whatever swag items that I take care of, like being able to fulfill that through that.
Like these beautiful unicorn farts tikus. Although this is the OG one. What's that?
That's the original one,
Yeah, this is the original one.
Mm-hmm.
Which I believe there are way fewer of these than there were of the second year.
We made like 100, maybe 200 max of those. The second year we did like tenfold. So we actually still have a few of those still left up available on our shop, but I don't think we're going to be doing a round this year. I actually made these really funny unicorn pens. I wish I had one right here to show you. Oh, there it is. Your daughter can use that.
She already laid claim to it.
She did?
Yeah, because she wanted to know why I had a unicorn pen. And then I was like, my friend sent it to me. And then she just thought that was absolutely hilarious.
It's like the same thing of like asking a bunch of biker gang guys to say, order a unicorn part.
So what other exciting things do you have coming up this year?
I think just a lot of fun flavors that are completely new. I think trying not to tire out of stuff, because so many people, like you'll see in these like fruited sours, you'll see people do like maybe add one more fruit and call it different, So just trying to do something completely different. Fruits that we haven't used yet, stuff like that. Yeah. I'm really excited. Now, I don't want to say this and set it in stone, but the idea we have for this is
we're safe. It's just us talking.
Oh, okay, cool. We want to do a beer with oob. Have you ever seen that?
No, what is that?
I know, right? Okay, so it's I've never heard of it because I don't shop at fancy Whole Foods kind of mom's organic marketplaces. But oob, UBE, is this cool product that it's this like natural ingredient that people use with food, and it turns it purple.
It's a Philippine dessert made from boiled and mashed purple yam.
Yep. So if you
and it is purple.
I'm not kidding. It is purple. They make like oob ice cream and oob this and oob that, and you're like, how cool would it be to have an oob beer?
That would be cool.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that one if we can pull it off. I'm hoping we can pull it off. I feel like we'll have to use a lot of oob to turn something that's yellow to purple,
Yeah.
There's always that hard thing.
Scaling up. And
yeah. Because we don't start with white, we start with yellow. So
yeah.
And then just like some other big projects that we got going on that we're still in the brainstorming phases of, but that we hope to be able to put some actual marketing dollars behind and be doing some big charitable projects. Like, oh shoot, what's the name? Bottle Share. Have you heard about them?
I feel like I have. Is it
They're
another?
So cool.
Is it another like delivery service kind of?
They're what do you call it? 503, 501, the charity.
503c.
503c. Yeah, they're a charity. Look them up. Bottle Share. Basically, they raise funds to help people who are injured in the industry. And
okay, that isn't at all what I thought it was.
Completely.
That's really cool.
cool. The guy's story is it's just so moving. And I actually was able to meet him virtually on a Zoom meeting last month. And he's just the most genuine guy. He almost brought me to tears. You just can't help but feeling his story and wanting to be a part of it. So we're going to be doing a beer solely dedicated to that and his cause. And basically we'll cover our costs to physically make the beer, but all of the proceeds, all of it go straight to the charity. So that's going to hopefully be a huge difference for him. And, just trying to pick and choose where we can put our time and energy into things that make a difference. We want to create opportunities for people in the industry. And so we just got a lot of fun ideas coming up.
So was he someone that worked in the industry and was hurt while working?
Yeah, you can look him up. It's
thebottleshare.org.
Yeah. I
Kind of hard
in front of it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to Google because it's such a common term, but
I know.
thebottleshare.org, there's a video. It looks like it explains everything. I will watch that later.
Yeah, it's so cool though. Gosh.
That's one. I mean, we did a whole episode dedicated to this that you joined in on. That Duclaw does so much to give back to the community and help raise funds for charities like Unicorn Farts. Proceeds to that go to charities, whereas like they could just pocket all of that sweet glitter money.
And it's expensive to brew too. Oh my goodness. All that glitter. Jeez.
So wait, when is that coming out again?
That one's coming out, I want to say May. Let me check my calendar real quick, make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, May.
So when will you be debuting that the unicorn's name is Toots?
Oh, goodness. I feel like we need to talk to our designer and make like a cute little graphic where it has like maybe a bubble and say, "Hello, my name is Toots." Put the little uncat symbol underneath.
I'm on board. I mean, don't you think? Isn't that like?
I do like it. Yeah.
It's simple and it's perfect.
It totally makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, part of it is like goes back to the first time I showed my daughters that can and then like poured it and showed them the glitter in it when like that first year it was released. Yeah. They laughed forever.
Really?
And the next day when I had a beer, my youngest, who would have been 3 at the time, 4, so some age, asked me where the tooting unicorn was.
That is the cutest story. I love it.
It's in writing because I back when we had the Uncat magazine, I had wrote I guess you'd call it an editorial or a column about how craft beer should be fun. And
I remember that. I actually have a copy over on my desk.
I have a bunch of them still sitting in my office. And I'm pretty sure I wrote about that in that article, but I can't remember. But so Toots would be the perfect name for.
I like it. It reminds me of like in Greece when they call you Toots.
Yeah. And then Toots and Dookie can finally be introduced to each other.
They actually, Squatty Potty has a full-on, you know how he said he has an animatronic version, but they actually have a full body costume too.
So that in those videos that were released today that's
Dookie, yeah.
Okay. I was kind of hoping that was you jumping around in Duclaw's unicorn outfit.
No, I have we bought on Amazon these hooves hands and like a mask with the purple hair.
No, you need a full costume.
I do not have a full body, though.
You need mascot level unicorn outfit.
Yeah, but that was really funny. Yeah, Dookie totally dressed up in full costume and flew from Utah to Maryland.
They didn't seriously ride on the airplane dressed as.
No, I'm kidding.
That would have been amazing, though.
Yeah, that would have been fun footage.
In the height of a pandemic, someone getting onto
My mask.
yeah. And whoever they were with, this is my emotional support unicorn.
That would be so funny. We should make a video like that.
All right, Rachel. Thank you. Well, actually, is there anything else you want to cover?
No, I'm good.
You're just sick of talking to me. I understand. I'm tired of.
I want to go home.
I'm tired of hearing me talk too.
No, but this has been really fun. Thank you for having me on.
Real quick, where
Yes.
do people find Duclaw? Like not the physical beer, but to keep up. Yeah. I want a rundown of every restaurant and beer store. Where can people keep up to date on what Duclaw has going on, so they know about these 25th anniversary happenings?
Yeah, I would just say our Instagram is probably the best out of all of our social media channels. Our Instagram has probably the most updates just because we can do the stories on there and we're constantly posting little things there. But otherwise, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We just started a new YouTube channel, so who knows how often we'll post to that. But otherwise, Duclaw.com is always a good place too.
And obviously, go to giveacrapchallenge.com. Become aware of. Go ahead, say the name.
Colorectal.
That cancer.
Colon cancer.
Yes, beware. And the Colon Cancer Foundation. The awesome team up between Duclaw and Squatty Potty to raise this awareness, and then also get this special beer into a few hundred lucky people's hands of the special version of Unicorn Farts with a sparkly rainbow poop emoji on the, which
we had so much fun.
So thank you so much, Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you everyone for watching and listening. Cheers.
Yeah. Now go give a crap.
I can't wait to see that video of you calling your
my grandmother. Oh,
yes.
She's probably gonna say a few cuss words. We'll have to bleep it out.
Thank you so much.